All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. God bless everybody in the name of Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah. I pray everybody's having a blessed, wonderful, amazing, fantastical weekend. As the Bitcoin price right now is coming down, as we can see, to a major support, which is the Fibonacci Golden Pocket value area low of our macro range for the past year. Low to mid 90s, a level we've been calling for on this channel ever since October, when we back tested the value area high of the range. My goodness, this is crazy. Here we are. The big question on everybody's mind is, are we going to hold? Coin market cap fear and greed index today is 18. We have not seen it this low since April. Of course, in April, we had a double bottom at 15 on the fear and greed index. And you can see right now we are coming down into that zone of extreme fear. Now, of course, historically, when we come into extreme fear, that is bullish. All right, so let us not forget, as the Bitcoin price is dumping, this is a bullish indicator when we are in extreme greed at macro support. Just to recap here, the last time we saw extreme greed in these markets was back down here, and back down here, we had a double bottom of extreme greed, aka extreme fear, which did lead to a spike up to extreme greed. So the question is, are we going to hold here? Is the bull market over? I mean, we are losing major support right here on Bitcoin. You can see that we've got this trend line right around here. It's actually quite an interesting trend line. We could take it back to the bottom that we made here in January 2025. We'll garish sell away this thing right across the price action. It was support, then it was resistance. We broke out support 1, support 2, support 3. We tried to reclaim it, but we basically got a glorified month-long back test bearish, and then boom, here we are now making another lower low on the weekly time frame. Guys, in about 6 hours 41 minutes, we are going to close the weekly candle. This is going to be a very important weekly candle. I'd say, the November monthly candle is going to be even more important, because, obviously we could close this candle here. Next week candle could open up with a wick and then close back above, and that would actually look really bullish, right? And the November candle, if it closes above this level, that is a bounce, right? I mean, if November closes above this level, that is a very key support resistance flip that we are bouncing from. Now, I've marked out some key levels here on the chart. As you can see, we'll get into that in a little bit, but shout out to everybody in the chat. Major shout out to Trey Flip Jones. He says, Holy Bera. Shout out to Art Mankev. He says, this is the end. Shout out to Med. He says, this is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Shout out to the other TJ who says, Shalom, Shalom, I'm bullish on Jesus. Shout out to Steve Slots and Gaming. I'm tired of winning, LOL. Shout out to John Berg, who says, CME needs that, below that needs to be closed. That was created when, I guess you guys are talking about CME gaps in the chat. Extreme, I don't know what's happening. The Adventures of Smoke You Bandit. You think they're going to make it that easy for shirts? That's right. It's shirts versus skins in this Bitcoin price action. Those of us who have shirts, because we still have a little bit of money left from these markets, and those of us who don't have shirts because, well, we've lost everything in these markets, including the dang shirt off our back. Shout out to Crypto Knight, the Litecoin Maxi, who says, LOL. He says this, LOL. If they pump it, what do they expect people to buy back in? They all got liquidated. Just a quick reminder, guys, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. 1,000 USDT. We get 1,000 likes in 30 minutes. This isn't actually true, this sign here. I should change this sign. 1,000 likes in 30 minutes for a $1,000 giveaway. All right. There we go. That's more like it. Make sure to smash the likes, guys. Make sure to smash the likes. Major shout out to Joe Potter. Are you still long and strong, Joe Potter? I am actually curious, Joe Potter. Are you still long and strong? What do you think? Major shout out to Eddie201SK. Major shout out to Tina D. Shout out to Monkey Wars, who says, yo, Juanita. Shout out to Steph Man 1983 from Spain. And shout out to Arm and Clark. The world is changing. Maybe history is changing too, says my man, CTB 2611. Shout out to Divine Hood. God bless you, my bro. Eddie only wears wife beaters. I used to only wear wife beaters as well. CME gap closing, question mark. We're going to get into that, guys. Just a quick recap here. Make sure to smash the likes. Just a quick recap for those joining in now. We are currently in extreme fear on the CMC CoinMarketCap Fear and Greed Index. Historically, this is a bullish indicator. Historically, this marks a bottom. If I move my big, fat, ugly self out of the way, you can see that last time we were in this territory, it was the bottom. It was the time to be buying Bitcoin, on spot at least. And right now, we are dipping our toes back into that territory, which means, historically speaking, we can see a bounce. Does that mean we're going to continue with the bull market? Well, you know, my view has been that the top is in, okay? But that doesn't mean we can't get a major back test, right? Like a major back test of this trend line. Or it also doesn't mean that we can't grab all the short liquidity and make a triple top, okay? But I believe that the top is in. I believe we are in for a large correction in 2026 based on some of our higher term timeframes. Now, this is a promotional article meant to promote this stupid IPO genie crap, all right? But even though it's a promotional piece of crap article, they do bring up some interesting points, which is that the crypto market volume has surged to all-time highs. You know, that's quite interesting. The crypto market volume has surged to all-time highs. Mostly this has been driven by institutional inflows. Q4 2025 crypto funds saw almost $10 billion of inflows. 67% about is coming from institutional investors. So it's the spot ETFs that are a key driver of the participation in the market here. Now, of course, this article is using this data to try and spin their piece of crap, whatever it is, IPO genie, which, you know, whatever. I don't know anything about IPO genie, so I don't mean to talk crap out of ignorance. But whenever you see an article that's trying to promote some project, you know somebody paid for this promotion, and they're trying to find any reason they can to make people bullish on their project, okay? But nonetheless, the fact that we are seeing all-time highs in volume is quite significant, especially when things look this bearish. This is telling us that big money is not afraid to buy the dip, okay? Big money, although, and here's the thing about big money you have to understand, right? When you have a lot of money, the volatility doesn't affect you as much, right? You're kind of looking to accumulate crypto as much as you can. You're not really worried about what it's going to be like in next year. You're more worried about what it's going to be like years down the road. So the fact that Q4, which has been quite a bearish Q, we're seeing big money still accumulating Bitcoin at these prices. Interesting stuff. All right. A little bit of bearish news here today. Ethereum's price struggles, even though people are not taking profit anymore. So people were taking profit on Ethereum, and that was causing the price to go down. But now, just the past 30 days, we've seen the price of Ethereum drop almost 20%, but we've seen profit taking diminish. So it's quite interesting. The NUPL, the net unrealized profit and loss for ETH, has fallen to 0.23, its lowest since July 1st. So when the net unrealized profit and loss gets really high, that's typically when you expect a correction to the downside. If anyone's familiar with the NUPL indicator, you can see it on like CoinGlass for Bitcoin and stuff. Basically, when the unrealized profit gets really high, you expect people to start taking profit. But what's strange about this Ethereum right now is the net unrealized profit and loss is very low, meaning people, they don't have unrealized profits, they've already taken their profits, yet the price still continues to come down. There's still sell pressure on ETH. This is mostly coming from the derivatives markets, people trading on leverage. That's probably what's pushing the price down lower. And honestly, this is a little bit bearish for Ethereum. But if we start to lose 3,000, well, guess what? We're going to see even more people getting wrecked on their leverage positions, which could push the price all the way back down towards 2,600 golden pocket and or $2,000 value area low of the macro range. All right. In other news, which is macro bullish for Bitcoin, Steak and Shake. Who don't love a little bit of Steak and Shake here and there? I used to love me some Steak and Shake back when I was traveling the country, living in a van. But Steak and Shake brings Bitcoin-friendly fast food to El Salvador. Wow! El Salvador. The shining beacon of Bitcoin buoyancy in the world. So Steak and Shake, which is, by the way, a United States-based fast food chain. I would consider it a step above fast food. Come on, guys. Steak and Shake, that's some good eating. All right? Opened up its first Latin American location in El Salvador, and the restaurant will accept Bitcoin for payments. So this is actually a real-world example of crypto adoption beyond just speculation in the markets, right? Everyday retail, going out to eat, is starting to accept Bitcoin. Go to the mall, use some Bitcoin. I have to be honest, if I could go to a store and use Bitcoin, I would be very irresponsible with my spending. I don't know about you guys, but if I had, I will never do this. I will never have a debit card linked to my dang Bitcoin portfolio. Otherwise, I'll go out and buy some stupid stuff. I'll impulse buy cars, impulse buy haircuts, impulse buy... Just kidding, I would never do that. But this does highlight how regulatory and environmental factors attract businesses into the crypto economy. El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender, I forget how long ago. But now that it's legal tender, we're starting to see it being normalized. Pretty soon it's going to be normal for you to go out. Maybe not quite so in the US yet. Maybe not in Europe yet. But this is a stepping stone to the point where your Bitcoin is going to be considered good old money, right? It's funny, whenever somebody does a good or service for me, and they say, how are you going to pay? Cash, check, card? I always ask, do you take Bitcoin? Most of the time they're like, what's that? Or, ha 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 ha. They laugh like it's a joke. I'm like, no, I'm serious, do you take Bitcoin? They're like, well, I heard about it, my friend's into it. Or, you know, I did buy a little bit of it, but I don't quite understand it. Pretty soon that's going to go away, guys. And everybody's going to be using Bitcoin. Now, back to the chart. As you can see, the Bitcoin price is coming down to the macro Fibonacci golden pocket. Okay? So here's the deal. We have the fair value zone going all the way back to 2024 November when Donald J. Trumparoni y Queso wins the election. All right? So I'm going to call this the Trump range, which means we're going to have to make it orange to represent Donald Trump, right? This is the Donald Trump range right here. Okay? This is the Donald Trump wins the election range. And what's happened here is we've established a fair value for Bitcoin between the exact prices of 92,000 and approximately 116,000. What this means is we are coming down into an area where, objectively speaking, for the past year, Bitcoin has been considered undervalued. Anything below $92,000 is considered objectively undervalued. Also interesting to note, the last time we were in the undervalued zone, we were in extreme fear, just like we are right now. So, what are the key levels below us? Well, obviously, we could be seeing a bounce from the Fibonacci golden pocket. Now, I want to just highlight something right here, which is this, okay? Without any TA on the chart, no matter what, if you're a TA wizard or not, notice this. We have right back here in January 2025 a wick low, all right? Then in March 2025, that exact low is our exact high, okay? So we have a low, which flips then into an exact high. We could pull a square and you can see that clearly, all right? Then we're gonna go ahead and extend this to the future, And we can see, okay, this is going to be extremely important support. Then we're going to go ahead and take our Fibonacci golden pocket from the low to the high. And we're going to notice the fact that the Fibonacci golden pocket is right here. And this lines up with the candle bodies, not the wicks, but the bodies going back to January 2025. So what that means is we have a zone right around here, which is major support for Bitcoin. Remember, the last time we were in extreme fear, we had dip number 1. This is the weekly chart. And then a month later, we had dip number 2. It didn't happen overnight. All right, the bottom didn't come in overnight. It felt like it did back over here. If you guys remember, February 24th, 2025, we had a big old wick all the way down to like $78,000 here on Coinbase. And then literally in that 1 week, we reclaimed it back 20%, right? Then we had a lower low. And in 3 weeks, that's 20 days, a 15% pump. Then we had a lower low. Now keep in mind, this went from February all the way to April. So we're talking like 2 months of complete chaos and what felt at the time like a roller coaster. Oh no, what's happening? Are we pumping? Are we dumping? What's going to happen? I just want you guys to remember that when we were down here and people were feeling very bearish, we were in extreme fear. So this level is going to be very key, because if it can hold, well, we're maintaining the higher lows of the uptrend, right? We have our low, we have our higher low, our higher low, our higher low, our higher low, our higher low. If this level can hold, guys, we are maintaining the uptrend, objectively speaking, on Bitcoin. Okay, so be aware that this is very key support on the macro. And this is also why I'm saying the monthly candles are going to be very important here. Watch the November monthly candle, right? Watch a weekly candle. Watch these high time frames. What we want to see is something like similar to this here, right? Where you can see that big sign of strength. Or even something like this that we saw back in August, a big wick down, and then the following month, a higher low, right? You either want to see a higher low put in, or you want to see a bullish engulfing candle. One of those two is going to be a major sign of strength here. All right. Now, the scary thing is that if we are going to lose our green box of hope and wonder, then what do we have to look forward to? Well, the sad thing is, guys, if we're going to lose this box, then we're probably going to be breaking structure on the monthly time frame. Okay. Let's go to our monthly time frame here. If we're going to lose the green box, we're most likely going to go for the $70,000 low. And that means we're going to be breaking market structure on our monthly time frame, which in my opinion signals an extended period of downside. And then our next major support is going to be around $65,000 to $70,000 to backtest this zone over here from this consolidation back in August 2024 and the previous market cycle all-time high, right? Now this zone right here is going to be our very important make it or break it zone number 2. We're very important make it or break it zone number 1, right? Because we lose this, then we're probably going to change market structure on the monthly. But then zone number 2, hang on, I got to fix this computer here. It's all sliding around, but zone number 2, hang on, let me fix this. Zone number 2, guys, this is going to be, if we don't hold this box, this is going to cause us to make another lower low, which will bring us back down into this space of no support, right? Okay. I just want to make, and again, I'm not saying this is going to happen. We're saying, look, first, this needs to hold. If not, then we could look down to this level. If this doesn't hold, then if we make another lower low, we're literally entering into a zone where there is no support. We have fair value gaps on the monthly time frame. We have liquidity to be taken on the monthly time frame. And then I think we could actually see Bitcoin get moved down to, get your thumbs down buttons ready, under $40,000. Under $40,000. Why do I say that? Here's why. This zone right here, not only is the support resistance flip, it's also the Fibonacci golden pocket. Historically speaking, in the bull market, we don't hold the golden pocket. I'm sorry, in the bear market, historically speaking, we don't hold the golden pocket. And when we fail to hold the golden pocket, we always come down to the 786. Every single time, actually, we've come down to the 786. Let me be clear. Am I saying we're going to come down to the 786 right now? No. What I am saying is this level we're at right now, let's call it 89 to 92, must hold if we want the bull market uptrend to continue. If this level does not hold, then we're looking down here. This is a pivotal place because this is going to tell us whether or not the institutional money that's coming into crypto in general, as per this article that's here just to shill a project, but nonetheless it still has good information about how the crypto market has seen basically a volume surge to all-time highs driven by institutional money, big investors, $10 billion of inflows just in Q4 alone of 2025, coming primarily from institutional investors through the ETFs and all that kind of stuff, right? So this level is going to be critical because if the big money that's coming in is going to actually make it different this time, then instead of our typical 70% bear market pullback, which we've had every single market cycle so far, then we could expect a little bit less of a pullback. In this instance, we're talking 45 to 50%. Backtest major support. Get a bounce. But if we don't get a bounce from that level, guys, then we would expect that we would continue to follow the pattern that we followed throughout all of Bitcoin history, which is the bear market bottoms out in between the golden pocket and the 786. I'm sorry, in between the 786 and the 886. Historically speaking, we would expect the Bitcoin price to come down now to this level. All right? Come down to this level right around here. That's going to be just under 40K. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I want to make it clear. We are not here to predict. This is very important. My channel and myself, I don't make predictions. All right? That's not how I operate in the market. I identify key levels on the chart and then I plan to say what would I do at these levels. All right? So here's my plan. Right now, and I've been very open about this, I am out of Bitcoin. 80%, 80%, I'm out of Bitcoin. I've been out of Bitcoin since July 2025. I'm out 80%. All right? I was out December 4th, 2024. I was out 60%. July 2025, I was out 80%. I do not plan to buy Bitcoin on spot unless we are back down at least in this zone. All right, this is buy number one for me on a very small amount. Okay, anything under $70,000 is buying territory for me. Anything under $40,000 is aggressively buying. All right, so under 70, buying. Under 50K, buying more. Under 40K, aggressive buying. If we do come back down to 30 and actually tap the support resistance flip, irresponsible amounts of buying on my end. Irresponsible, honestly. That is my plan right now. I'm not saying it's going to happen. We might just pump from here and I might be missing the boat. I might miss my opportunity to buy Bitcoin again, and then that's it. Jason Casper loses. That's it. I stole fizzy lifting drinks. I bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed. Now I get nothing. I lose. But if we do come back down, then we have ourselves a good opportunity. Now let's go to the 2-month time frame. What do we have in the 2-month time frame? Bearish divergence confirmed. The last few times, the last 3 times, we had a 2-month bearish divergence. It was the top. It happened here, it happened here, it happened here, and it's happening here. Okay? It's very unlikely. Now I'm not, once again, I understand the possibility of making a higher high here, and I understand the possibility of big fake out, haha, the institutional money wrecked the retail, you thought it was the top and now it's not, now we're at 250K. I understand that possibility. Okay? I also understand and am open to the possibility of making one more higher high on the chart, taking out this high. Just like we printed the bearish divergence in April of 2021, we had bearish confirmation, and then we went for the stop hunt and made a double top. I'm open for that as well. But I am very, very cautious to feel like we're going to have a big surprise bull market part 2 with the confirmed bearish div on the 2-month. The high time frames don't lie, man. They just don't, right? I mean, we get the green dot on the 2-month. That's pretty much the bottom. We get the red dot on the 2-month. That's pretty much the top every single time. Do we have volatility within that? Yes. So we got the green dot on the 2-month down here. The bottom was in, but guess what? Whoops, COVID-19, big old double bottom. All right. We get the red dot right here. The top is in, but guess what? Whoops, double top, and then we come down. Don't worry about the short-term volatility. These 2-month time frames are not for you to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow or next week, right? This is the overall strength of the market in general, right? So that's why I'm leaning bearish. That's why I am leaning bearish. We have a double drive of bear div on the monthly. We go to the 2-week. Bearish divergence, money flow coming down. All right, it really looks like to me, like again, if I'm going to flip this upside down, because that really helps us see perspective here. If we were looking at this chart upside down, what would we say to ourselves? We'd say, look at this. We're forming a bullish falling wedge pattern. We're forming a bullish falling wedge pattern. We have bullish divergences. The money flow is getting higher. It looks like, what do we want to do? It looks like we want to at least come and hit this support resistance flip before we continue in a macro trend, right? Or at the very worst, we would say that we come back to the target of the falling wedge, which is right under $40,000. We pull the fib in this case now from the high to the low. Remember, this is an upside down chart. Our 786, which historically every single bear market bottoms out at every single time, is right at the target of the falling wedge. Right? This is what we would expect. And again, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is what I'm planning for, because this is what the chart is telling me right now. Right? This is what the chart is telling me right now. As Bitcoin is grinding down to $94,000 level, right? So let's take a look at Ethereum here. Now remember what we said about ETH. Very interesting. The Ethereum price is struggling despite people are no longer taking profit. All right, so over the last month, we've seen almost a 20% drop in ETH. And in the beginning, the drop was happening because, well, on-chain analytics were showing that people were realizing their profits. People who bought ETH, I guess, low, were realizing profits. I guess they decided, well, you know, this is the 2-week chart, and so everyone saw, okay, well, I had an opportunity to buy at 1,500. I thought we were going to go higher. We're not. Let me take some profit. All right, let me take some profit. So a lot of profit taking was happening. The net unrealized P&L, which is called the NUPL. The NUPL. Uh-oh, Bitcoin just made another lower low. Let's check it out here. Okay, wow. Bitcoin making a lower low. I did on Friday take a scalp from the 618 on a long on Bitcoin, locked in a profit, and I have my stop loss, which will kick me out for a $500 profit. So I'm curious to see what happens, as on a weekend we are currently taking the low. We are currently taking the low on a weekend. We interrupt our Ethereum analysis to bring you this breaking Bitcoin TA. Bitcoin is making another lower low as we are dipping into the Fibonacci golden pocket, the golden pocket of juiciness, hope, and wonder. Let's go ahead and pull the fib over here on KCEX. By the way, guys, if you want to trade with the lowest fees in the game, go ahead and trade over on KCEX. Link in the description for the lowest fees. Also, BLOFIN is offering the lowest fees to the Casper crew. Also, guys, if you want to join the Casper crew where we gave literally the short setup in real time from the exact top, and the short setup also that we're currently in right here, although I have been compounding this along the way, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com and click the link to join the best trading community in the world. All right. Let's check out this. We're going to set another alert on Bitcoin if we make another low here. And we're going to set an alert on Bitcoin if we happen to go up towards. We will do some low time frame analysis in a little bit, but I do want to talk about ETH because the net unrealized profit and loss right now typically is bottomed out. And when it's bottomed out, that usually is a pump signal. But we're continuing to see the price drop even though people have realized their profit on spot. And the reason it's continuing to drop, guys, is because of the leveraged traders. It's the derivative markets that are causing the price to drop. People continue to be liquidated. Now, here's the thing, guys. If Bitcoin is not going to hold where we're currently at right now, around the $3,000 level, and it's a zone, then the probabilities actually, guys, are highest that we come down to the lows of around 2,000, like this last low, probably toward the POC. Right? We can just clearly see, based on our support resistance drawing on the chart, like that this is going to be our major level, right? This is major. We're losing the macro value area high right now, which means if we can't hold 3,000 key psychological, we're going to see massive amounts of liquidations, which could push the price down lower. All right, let's go ahead and analyze just the volume of this bull market trend here. You can see how important this zone is. It's the value area low of the bull market range. Okay. We cannot see ETH lose these levels. This is a really weak sign for ETH. So just like how Bitcoin has to hold its current level, we need to see ETH hold its current level. Let's go ahead quickly and put on our good old-fashioned Market Cipher B once again. So sadly on Market Cipher B, guys, on the 2-week time frame, confirmed bear div. On the monthly, we will confirm a bearish div here in 14 days, in half a month. We have half a month. Be watching the monthly candle, guys. Man, this is a huge disappointment for me on ETH. I'll be honest with you. This is a huge disappointment for me on ETH if we actually lose this level here, because I was expecting this big green dot to give us a $5,500 ETH. Did we even hit 5,000? Not quite. Man, oh man, that is quite disappointing for your boy Jay Casper. But yeah, we'll have money flow and momentum getting lower here on the monthly in 14 days. Bear div confirmed on the 2-week. Crap! The weekly. Momentum coming to the downside. So our key levels for ETH, guys, first of all, $3,000, very key psychological. If we can't hold 3,000, then we're coming down to 2,600 golden pocket. If we can't hold that, we're coming down to the $2,000 support resistance split. We just draw a line on the chart and we can see clearly it was support in 2021, resistance in 2022, 2023, support in 2024, support flip to resistance in 2025, breakout, back test as support, higher high, and now we're coming back down. Now, I do just want to point out something, which is this, guys. All right, in general, man, this could get dirty, right? In general, the way I'm looking at my ETH and my other altcoin investments in the event that a major top is in for crypto here, right? The way I'm looking at these investments is I'm not going to do anything. I didn't sell my ETH, and I'm not going to sell it because we don't. I didn't sell it here, so why would I sell it here? That's how I look at it. I bought ETH in 2022 in November after FTX went down, right? And it came down basically to my entry. The way I look at this is it's a big old sideways range, guys. All right, this is a giant old sideways range, which means there's no way in my mind we're going to see ETH go to zero. All right, it's too good of an asset. And so even if we consolidate in this large range, it's only a matter of time, guys, until we break out of this range. So for me, it's all about being patient, right? I had a plan to sell at 5,500. I had a plan to sell at 8,500, and I had a plan to sell at 10K. My targets never hit. I never sold. I'm not going to sell now. Jay, that's dumb. Maybe it is for you. Okay, everyone has their own investment strategy. For me, it's not dumb, right? For me, it's not dumb because I put money into ETH expecting a certain return, and I'm going to hold it out because I'm convicted, fundamentally, based on what Ethereum is, that we are going to break out of this range, even if it takes longer than expected, right? Now, remember, there are a lot of reasons to think that we could see a, let's see here. Let me see if I could find that article that we were looking at yesterday. I don't know if I'll be able to find the article, but we were reading an article talking about how because the 4-year cycle is broken, and it broke when we hit an all-time high before the halving. It really broke when we got a 20% pullback after the ETF before the halving instead of a 50%. A lot of people are saying because of the institutional inflows coming into the markets, we're not going to have the big 4-year blow-off tops and bear markets anymore. We're going to have more steady trading that generally goes up over time, right? And that makes a lot of sense to me as well. So, yeah, does it suck if my spot portfolio, my altcoin portfolio, literally goes back down to my entry? Yes, it sucked. But I'm still convinced that ETH is not going to zero. All right, maybe Fart Coin's going to zero and Pepe's going to zero, and all these random coins that have come out are going to zero. But not ETH, not the top 20 ones, not Cardano, not Chainlink, right? These ain't going to zero. They ain't going to zero. Believe you me. Make sure to like the video. Shout out to Dread. Dread Mining says 4-year cycle still intact. Well, if it is, it's very different. I mean, let's be honest. This is a very different 4-year cycle. What are some differences? Number one, Bitcoin. Back in January 2024, we were scheduled for a pullback to $30,000 from the golden pocket. We were scheduled for a 40% pullback. We got half of that, right? Second anomaly, we hit the all-time high before the halving. The halving happened in April, right around here, right? We hit the all-time high before that. Never in history have we done those two things. What's the other anomaly of this Bitcoin crypto cycle? The next anomaly is that if this is a top, and it should be a top according to the 4-year cycle. According to the 4-year cycle, Q4 2025 leading into Q1 2026 should be the top, right? So, we have not seen the money flow into altcoins like we've seen before. We have simply not seen that. We have also not seen the euphoria surrounding Bitcoin that we've seen in past cycles. Do you guys remember the euphoria that we had here and that we had here? It was insane, all right? We had crypto YouTube channels blasting through 1 million subscribers, and some of them weren't even providing valuable information at all. There was just so much hype. You had channels, just any old YouTube channel, could grow super fast back in these days. I mean, my channel, which is just a small, unprofessional guy on a screen, right? In just a few months, I got tens of thousands of subscribers. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy. We have not seen anything like that. The new YouTube channels that started in this cycle, a lot of them are not even at 20,000 subs yet. We have not seen the euphoria, and these are good channels. You know, every crypto cycle, the YouTube channels step it up a level, right? The crypto YouTubers step it up a level every cycle because they want to outdo the big guys and provide better content. Well, this cycle, you have people putting out amazing content, and unless they have a huge team behind them to push and put a lot of money into advertising and paying people to do social media and all this stuff, you know, they're not growing, you know? There is not that euphoria out there like there was. That dream that everyone had in 2017, 2020 of being able to take an average poor guy working at a grocery store with a brother with Down syndrome and then become a billionaire who drives to McDonald's in a Maserati to order a Big Mac meal. Those dreams are not here. this crypto cycle. You know what I'm saying? BlackRock middlemaning, taking liquidity from the real asset. Yeah, it's very similar to what happened with gold, right? The ETFs, this is traditional finance with their hand in the pot. All right, let's see. Oh, just stopped out. Just stopped out of a Bitcoin long here. That's okay. We're dipping down. We're making another low. Stopped out for a $500 profit. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're making another low, guys. Our next big target is going to be the $92,000 level on Bitcoin. All right, the $92,000 level on Bitcoin. Let's see what happens as we come down to that area. All right, we don't want to get malaria from the area. But the 786 is also the value area low of the range. Let's go to our daily time frame here. Let's extend this to the right. There we go. This is going to be our next big level, literally right here. 92,500 is going to be the next big zone. Again, we might get malaria from the area because under that, you know, remember, 89 is also a pretty big zone, okay? So that's pretty much the deal, guys, with Ethereum. I do want to take a look at Bitcoin dominance right now. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance is about to close the week below the trend line. So this finally is breaking down to the downside here. Now, the only good thing about this is going to be if Bitcoin bounces from the level and holds support from the zone that we've marked out, which is between $89,000 and $92,000, literally where we're at right now. If Bitcoin can hold there and get a relief rally, or even get a blow off top rally, taking out the high to make a triple top, and we see Bitcoin rising in price, and yet Bitcoin dominance coming down, that is a recipe for some altcoin gains, for some real altcoin gains. Because remember, if the Bitcoin price is going up, that means money is coming into Bitcoin. If the price of Bitcoin is going up, and I'm not talking about massive pumping, I mean slow and steady holding support. We're getting more, no, okay, so we're holding. Bitcoin's going up, holding support, and we're seeing Bitcoin dominance go down. That means money is going into altcoins, all right? So let's take a look at the total three. Let's take a look at altcoin dominance. See, this is not good for altcoins right now. If Bitcoin dominance is going down and altcoin dominance is going down, that basically means total market cap is going down and money's leaving crypto. And that is what's happening, right, in general. It becomes more and more unlikely to see a big alt season when things look like this. But things can change, all right? So what do we want to see? For some actual altcoin gains, we want to see Bitcoin holding support. We want to see Bitcoin dominance going down. We want to see altcoin dominance going up. That's going to be big indications of money coming into crypto. Again, I expect relief soon. I don't expect, even if the bear market's here, guys, I don't expect us to go straight down. I don't. You can't be in extreme fear at massive support and not expect some kind of fake out. It just doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Once everybody agrees that we're bearish and we're going down, that's when you at least see a relief rally, right? It doesn't work like, I mean, look, last time we were in extreme fear. That was the bottom. Pushed us up to a new all-time high. Pushed us right up to a new all-time high, all right? So there's still that possibility. There's still the possibility for that to happen. Okay, so Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a swing of failure pattern right from here. Okay, let's check out our lower time frame Bitcoin. Okay, so Friday we tap into the golden pocket once. Sunday we tap into the golden pocket again. This actually does look nice here with the money flow. It does look nice with the 24-minute. In fact, I'm going to go for a little bit of a long right now. Let's go, baby. Let's see. We'll put our stop loss underneath the low, 93.6. about a $900 loss. And we're going to target up to 97,950 for our TP1 to come to the top of the range. All right, we're just looking for a little bit of a range trade here. Not financial advice, please, by no means. That's a beautiful 1% risk, assuming a $100,000 account. 4-to-1 risk reward for our TP1. Looking for the liquidity grab here before we drop it back down on Monday. It's honestly what I'd be interested in. So let us see what happens here. Okay. Let us see what happens here. Let's see what else we got going on. Pump it, baby. Come on, come on. 65, 2 and down. Eventually. Any thoughts on Zcash? Let's take a look at Zcash. Let's take a quick look at ZEC. Look at this strange channel here on the 24-minute. It doesn't look the best, honestly. So the weekly's finally starting to top out here. This is not something that I would buy now, obviously, okay? We need some kind of a pullback. Would be wonderful. I know we had a pullback already this week, but I have to be honest with you, like, I would love to see us come down to around the weekly order block. I know that's a crazy drop, but we've just had a crazy pump. The first place to be interested in is the back test of 370. That's a 50% drop. 230 is a 68% drop. Now that is a massive drop. I'll recognize that that's a massive drop. So right now, here's what I would be looking at locally for Zcash. We're starting to form a range, right? We formed a range right up here with a low down here and our high up there, which means I would be interested actually in shorting Zcash if we come up above, take out the highs, and then drop back below. And I'd be shooting for down here, down at around 370, because we have the support resistance flip here, we have the golden pocket, we have the liquidity. I would be interested in shorting Zcash from around here, targeting down here, looking for a long. Obviously, I would keep some of the short open, and then I would be looking for a long from around this area here. The better area to look for the long is going to have to be coming back down to around the 235, that weekly order block. We have the weekly order block right here. This is going to be the better place to look for a long, in my opinion. It's a little bit lower than the obvious support resistance flip, but really the altcoins tend to retrace into that zone between the 786 and the 886. So if I had to pick any two trades on ZEC, it would be these two, to be honest with you. It would be these two, to be honest with you. It would be these two, to be honest with you. How's the Bitcoin doing? We got a little bit of a pump, nothing too crazy. We're just coming for that local high here. Let's see. Let's go back to the 6-minute time frame here. Yeah, it looks pretty good on our 6-minute as well, I'd say. For a nice C to the D to the double W. Can't be true. 24-minute looking pretty juice. E. Bitcoin Dom falling off a cliff. You know, have you handled choppy market and do the trade? Well, it's just a simple setup in this instance. A simple setup. I mean, it's a CDW setup right here. All right, this is a CDW. We saw basically a a liquidity grab of the low with bullish divergence. And so when you come to the bottom of a range and you take the low with a bullish divergence and you come back up, then that's objectively speaking a long setup. And this is honestly a pretty late entry. If I'd been watching and paying attention, you know, I could have gotten in probably somewhere like this, which then would have already had me here at about a 1-to-1, and I could have TP1 at the trend line, right? So if you got in good, you could TP1 at the trend line, which we might reject from. I'll have to see. If we reject, maybe I'll close it, but you know, then we look for the top of the range, which right now the top of the range is up here at around 99, 97.9, right? So that's how you find the setup. You don't let the price action scare you. You just do what you always do. And guys, if you want to learn that, I have a free course on my YouTube channel where I wear a gorgeous blonde wig and tell you how to trade. All right, it's a free course. It's a playlist on my YouTube channel. The Jason Casper free trading course, free 99, baby. It literally starts from the beginning. All right, check it out. Life changing. Look, it says life changing right in the title. Check it out. All right, free trading course. This will teach you how to come up with the setups and all that good stuff. All right, the setups and all of that good stuff. Now make sure to like the stream because we got a lot of people in here. No likes. No likes. Bears have no more Bitcoin to sell. First we're going to dump, then we're going to dump. What about Sol? I think Sol's going to be in the same boat as ETH. Palantir, another shortcoming. I can imagine people taking Bitcoin profits into Zcash to avoid taxes. Ooh, true, true, true. How does CBD look at that low? Let's check it out. Okay, let's skip that, I guess. Let's refresh this. Wow, we had quite a lot of shorts trapped at the low. Quite a few shorts trapped at the low. Would you look at this? We had maybe not too many shorts, but we have quite a few shorts actually that are currently underwater right now. So let's see if we can't get a little bit more squeeze to the upside with that. A little bit more upside squeeze. Again, guys, remember a Sunday trade is never a good trade, really. I would expect, you know, Monday comes along and we do make a lower low, to be honest with you. That's what I would expect. But what do I know? Just a crypto idiot on the YouTube. Just a crypto idiot on the YouTube. You know? Everyone's so hungry for shorts. Yeah, this is not the best place for shorts. Shout out to Sir Isaac Newton 88. Can I borrow 94,000 from you? Well, it depends, bro. Honestly, what do you need it for? And are you going to pay me back? What's the deal, man? Do I listen to worship music? Nope, I don't. Not really, not at all. Shout out to David. He says, ADA, please. Yeah, let's take a look at ADA. Sunday's the only day you can go all in? Well, then Sunday should be your scalping day. All right, Sunday should be your scalping day. If you know what I mean. Sunday should be your scalping day. Let's take a look at ADA. Wow. Oh, wait, this is Adam. Hang on. ADA coming down, taking the October 10th lows again. Wait, hang on. I'm on too low of a time frame. I'm sorry. I'm discombobulated, guys. Not taking the October 10th lows, not even close. So, ADA, man, I have to say, I have to feel the same way about ADA as I feel about ETH, which is I'm holding it, I'm not selling it. But the thing I like about ADA is we don't have a bear div here on the monthly. We do have a bear div on the 2 weekly, but the money flow still looks good here. The other thing I like about ADA is how we're still maintaining bullish market structure here. You know, we don't include that wick. We've got this channel. Let's take a look at the volume here. Now, overall, this does look like a bullish consolidation here. Like, in general, this looks really bullish. The fact that we wicked down to value area low, we took the liquidity from July, doesn't look so bearish. Let's go ahead and pull our fib from low to high and see, you know, I would be interested in coming back maybe to a back test of 35 cents, looking for a little bit of a bounce. But here's the deal. Right now, for all of these altcoins, we need to see, look at this, man. Bitcoin pumping. Let me sniff the sandals. Bitcoin pumping. Let me sniff your sandals. We're at VWAP right now. We might reject from this VWAP here. We're at the VWAP, the VWAPinator. We're at the VWAPinator right now. All right, we're at the VWAP right now, getting a big old pump right through the WAP. All right, getting a pump right through the WAP. Let's see, 95.071. All right, I've got a partial stop here. Let's see, can I put that on the dang chart? Yeah, okay, let's drag this up a little bit here. We're gonna look to take a little profit out of this as we go up here. I like to take a little pee as we go up here. All right, there we go. A nice little Scalperonian queso live. All right. Now we'll move this to the entry. Oh crap, I forgot my entry's not there. This is a bad entry. Let's see. Let's take a look at this here. All right, we're basically risking nothing here. We're risking 300 bucks to keep our stop loss there. Let's go ahead and pull a fib. From the low to the high. Yeah, look at that. My entry's right around that area. All right, well, we'll see what happens here. Maybe if we come back down to the golden pocket zone, I might even add. If we come back down to my entry, I'll have to wait and see. All right, I'll have to wait and see. So we'll keep this box pulled right here to see if we get any kind of bullish sign as we come down. So we're at the VWAP right now, guys. So a good place for a TP1 on a scalp. But we're currently above the VWAP. Let's actually go down to our 12-minute time frame here. We're above the VWAP, guys. So this VWAP is important. A hold above the VWAP, actually, and that would even warrant more adding to the trade. You know, maybe come back down to backtest. This too could add down here, maybe to add the VWAP, but definitely warrants a TP1 on that, to be honest. After a move like that, let's be honest, you should try and TP Uno. Bad risk reward, but it's a Sunday and we're here at the chart. We're here at the chart to avoid massive losses. Next target will have to still be up at the top of the range. Let's see here. Did it close out that order for me? Hang on. Yeah, it closed out the order. Okay, next TP for me is going to still have to be around the high of the range at around 97.7. We're still going to be shooting for that up there. Still going to be our target up there, right? All right. You need 95,000 now. Thanks, bro. Shout out to Sir Isaac Newton. Well, you keep sending me super chats too, bro. It's gonna grab liquidity at 169K. Okay, cool. Bullish on Parade says the Bitcoin monthly has me wagging my tail. Yeah, I get that, bro. I do get that for sure. Honestly, it's not the best look on the monthly. You say we're going to 1,125,000. Wait, bro, wait a second. Ahmad Al-Qatan 50 Ahmad Al-Qatan 5034 says, Jason, I say we're going to 100 and bro, this is tripping me out. It's tripping me out. Hang on, we're going to 112,500,000. All right, 112,500,000. All right, so what is that? Hang on, I'm gonna figure out what number that actually is. 112,500,000. It's gonna be 112,500,000. That's $112,500,000 Bitcoin. Okay, we're going to 112,500,000. If we go to a 112,500,000 Bitcoin, then I will give. Let's see. If we go, I'm not even kidding, okay? If we do that, I will give all of you $10,000. I'm not even kidding. I'll give you all $10,000, all 1,500 of you. That's only going to be $10 million. If one Bitcoin's $112 million, I will gladly give each of you $10,000. It'll be the best, it'll be the most watched YouTube live stream in the world. You know? Only 112.5 million. He's bearish. Shout out to Fit in Crypto. I love being fit in crypto. Don't you guys love being fit in crypto? Bring what on Monday? Well, you know, it's a weekend, false move Sunday, and all that stuff. All right. Man, honestly, if we hit that high Bitcoin, I don't even know. That's the kind of that's kind of money where it's like, if the economy's not destroyed, like that's the thing. Maybe the money will be worthless by then. Maybe we'll have some kind of like Weimar Republic hyperinflation if that happens, honestly. We would have some kind of crazy hyperinflation going on. Yeah, someone clip it. But look, it has to happen. It has to happen this cycle, all right? It can't be in the future. It has to be right now. It has to be before Q2 2026. All right? That prediction of the 112 million top has to happen this cycle, all right? Then I'll gladly give away $10,000 to each of y'all, all right? So Bitcoin is bouncing from VWAP. Let's see how the order flow looks here. So, wow, quite a few shorts opening up at the top too. This is bullish, man. This is actually bullish. Look at this, 6.3 million shorts at the top here, giving us even some more bullish CBD. This is some bullish CBD right here. We might, man, let me pull a fib here. You know, let's see. Hang on, where's my fib? Our 618. You know, as long as we don't take this low, we do have some bullish CBD. Even if we take the low and get a back test, we might have some locally bullish CBD here. This is a nice little move. It's a nice little move, if I do say so myself. By the way, guys, I'm trading right now on KCEX with 0 fees. Trading on WEEX and BLOFIN as well. Also, I'm using Market Monkey. Also, if you want to join the best trading community in the world, JasonCasperTrading.com. All links to all these things are in the description. Might aliens should arrive and invest for the 100 million coin to happen. Do you think that'll be bullish? What do you guys think? Let's take a poll. When the aliens come, all right? When the aliens come, hang on, let me show my dang KCEX link in here. All right, when the aliens come, is that bullish or bearish? Let's take a poll. When aliens come, $112 million Bitcoin, question mark. All right, when the aliens come, $112 million Bitcoin. I spelled it wrong here, but you guys get okay. Look, most people say yes. All right, bullish on the aliens. All right. Space cash. Space cash. Would you look at that bounce, man, though? Would you look at that bounce? Would you look at that bounce right there? My goodness. Mateys. We're losing the VWAP, though. So, not the best look, but, you know. Let's see. This is the Bitcoin bounce, you think, huh? Jason, look at Gala. It's popping off. Is Gala popping off? All right. Is Gala popping off? Aliens would likely cause a market crash. Aliens would break encryption. What do I mean when aliens come? Oh, they're going to come. Aliens are going to come. Of course they're going to come. They've been setting us up for it since War of the Worlds. They've been giving us soft disclosure, getting us exactly ready for exactly what the aliens are going to look like, what their spaceships are going to look like. They've been waiting for the perfect time for the big unveil, which is going to be used for control. I doubt they'll be actual aliens. They'll either be demons or just technology. It'll either be demons or technology. It'll either be the ancient gods coming back, or it will be technology, or a combination of both. And it's basically going to be the next big event that's going to change society. But yeah, when they come, that's what I mean, you know. Aliens are already here. Project Bluebeam. Yeah, you know, Bluebeam. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Is Bitcoin a good stock? We got to give a major shout out to the Dusty Hunt, who wants to know, is Bitcoin a good stock? And the answer always is yes, although their CEO did go to prison. Here's a picture of the Bitcoin CEO. He got charged with having uneven man boobs and went to prison. But now the new CEO of Bitcoin is a good guy. And so yes, Bitcoin is, objectively speaking, a good stock. All right, it is objectively speaking a good stock. All right. Aliens will come when Bitcoin goes to 1 million. What about reptilian demon robots? Yeah, maybe something like that. You know, maybe something like that. Yeah, Steaksaw says if they're gonna come and they've mastered time travel, then they've already come. Shout out to Joe Potter. Joe Potter, I forgot to ask you, or maybe you answered and I didn't see, but are you still like bullish, bro, or have you taken profits? Because Joe Potter's been long and strong since the bottom, through all the peaks and valleys, and I just want to know, Joe Potter, have you taken profits or no? What if the aliens come and they only invest in Fartcoin? All right, shout out to Joe Potter. He's long and strong, baby. Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Shout out to Joe Potter. Long and strong, baby. Bitcoin, gold, silver. Can't go wrong, historically, on Bitcoin, gold, and on silver. Honestly, you know, those are some good assets to be holding. Looks like lower on Monday, around 91, 92. Yeah, I'm feeling that low on Monday because, like, Monday, honestly, let's be honest, when we zoom in here, shout out to Joe Potter, by the way, we can see the value area low of the range coming in perfectly at the golden pocket bottom right here. So yeah, I'd say this week I'd be looking out for 92 or potentially a wick down to 88, the lowest. And then we really want to see how this... my voice is cracking, man. I'm such a beta male. I can't do anything without asking my wife for permission either. I have to ask her, hey, is it okay if I go to the bathroom? She says, yeah, but don't stand up when you pee. I'm like, okay. What was I saying? I forget. My goodness. Jay Casper, what a beta. Your dad asked you if aliens would be interested in Bitcoin? I mean, let's be honest. If aliens are real, in the sense, in the pop media sense, that there are other biological creatures from other planets that are orbiting around stars, all right? If that's real, if they're coming here, they don't give a crap about our money, all right? Is there an egg code for today? That's a great question. Let me find out. Nah, there's not. I'm sorry, guys. This was an impromptu stream, so I didn't actually get an egg code going for it. I am so sorry. Maybe I'll make one and I'll post it in the comments after this stream. You know? We're losing VWAP, guys, so let's take a look on the lower time frames now and see what happens here. As we're losing VWAP, are we going to reclaim VWAP? Are we going to come back down? Let's pull the local volume of this local Chop City range. Yeah, you know, that's where we want to hold, basically, is the golden pocket. 786 value area low. We can't lose this green box here. We can't lose it. There's nothing wrong with sitting to pee, says Dread Mining. No, in fact, every guy sits to pee if you got to take a dump, right? And pee at the same time. All married men are betas, says Alex Wells. That's true. Real alphas never get married. Real alphas never get married. Right? They're too good for that, I hear on the internet. Real alpha males, what do? They have to be on steroids and be super jacked. They have to have lots of cars, lots of women. They have to be super rich. They have to have a six-pack. What else do they have to do? They have to have like a multi-trillion-dollar business. That's the only way you can actually be an alpha male. And if you're not an alpha male, guess what? There's a whole bunch of alpha males out there on YouTube who you can pay money to in order for you to learn also how to become an alpha male. You know, so if you're like me and you're a beta, there's some people out there on YouTube, super jacked on steroids, multi-million-dollar business, not married, and they will take your money in order to teach you how to do the same thing. All right? Pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. Mikey Keck Music will never get married. He will never get married. Let's take a poll in the chat. How many are married? All right. Let's take another poll in the chat. How many are married? Are you married? Are you married? Yes. No. Want to. Never. Never will. Let's take a poll. I'm curious here on what you guys say. Shout out to Mega Space, all right? A true alpha male right here. I hold my pee while I poop to avoid peeing while sitting. I know, we don't want to end up like President Obama out in here. For sure. They have to be bald too. Yeah, that's true. You only pee while sitting. Okay, okay. I mean, it is relaxing. Next time you pee, do it barefoot. You'll get wet feet. I only poo while standing. Keytail's a true alpha. A true alpha. Only poo while standing. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I gotta try that. I gotta poo while standing. How does that work, man? You know? You mean squatting, or you mean straight up standing? Just standing. That's good. That's good. I like that. I like that. All right. So the poll. Let's see. 36% are married. 35% no. 15 want to. 14 never will. Okay. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. So Hopium Copium says this is a trap. Crypto Jinx is married to the charts. Have I ever tried sitting on a toilet the other way around? Straddle seat the toilet. Oh my goodness. This has devolved quickly, man. This live stream has devolved quite quickly. My goodness. My goodness. Yes. This has devolved quite quickly indeed. Quite quickly indeed. Indeed. Let's go to the order flow chart quickly. So we're seeing a decrease of OI now, which is sad. We were hoping to see more shorts open, but maybe we can get a bit of a bounce here. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on, come on, come on. Squat and pinch. Nice. Man, some people are admitting some crazy things. Bullish on parade, lies down OIPs. Yeah, so, you know, I'll be honest with you. Marriage is the #1 cause of divorce. That is true, and life is the #1 cause of death as well. Life is the #1 cause of death. Marriage is the #1 cause of divorce. Shout out to Radar Apologetics Media, sitting on the toilet the other way around. That messed him up. Shout out to Radar Apologetics Media. God bless you, bro. Guys, if you're into apologetics from a Messianic Jewish perspective, go check out Radar Apologetics Media on YouTube. Won't be disappointed. But he does have a warning for us all, which is sitting on the toilet the other way around messed him up. So I'll be honest with you guys. I do pee lying down pretty much every night because I often have to pee in the middle of the night. Not in the middle of the night. See, that's the thing. I don't have to pee in the middle of the night. I have to pee at like 4 in the morning, all right? 4 in the morning. So it's just at that time where, like, I need 2 more hours of sleep, right? And if I walk to the toilet to pee, or even if I just pee out the window, which I've been known to do, then it's hard to fall back asleep. By the time I do, I lose like an hour, and I fall asleep for an hour, and then it's like, ugh, I feel like crap, right? But if you keep a good old-fashioned pee jug next to your bed, then you just roll over half asleep and pee in the jug. Now, guys, let me tell you, the technique must be pristine, because first, you don't want to miss that little hole. So you have to learn how to line everything up perfectly. Secondly, you have to make sure you have the proper technique in the thumb and the pointer finger to maneuver the angle of the urethra in order to prevent a loud noise from the pee hitting the bottom of the bottle, which will wake up your wife. You need to have the pee kind of glide down the side of the bottle like a waterfall. It doesn't make a noise that way. If your wife wakes up, she'll be really upset for 2 reasons. Number 1, you woke her up. Number 2, you've been using the same pee jug every day for like a year. And you dump it out the next morning, right? And it smells horrible. It smells horrible. And every time she smells it, she starts to gag and she tells you, Jason, you need to get rid of that pee jug. You say, yeah, I will. Of course, don't worry. Yes, this time I will, right? But if she's asleep, she won't notice the smell. She'll just keep on sleeping. All right, those are some pro tips for you guys. I know this is why you come to the channel, in order to hear the pro tips on how to pee lying down without waking up your wife or angering her. All right, and this does apply, let's see, to how many people are in the chat, to 33% of you who are married. All right, and also to the 15% of you who want to be married. All right, this is these are some pro tips. Okay? Don't do that after eating asparagus. Ew, a catheter? Shout out to Radar Apologetics Media. Are you gonna try this, Radar? If you try it, let me know. Asparagus. What's the deal with asparagus? What's the deal with asparagus? Shout out to Brian. Come on, Brian. No. This is about not waking up. This is about not peeing on your wife, bro. All right. This is about not peeing on somebody else. This is the opposite of R. Kelly. All right. This feels. What are you saying here? Oh, this fills the gap. Why she's irritated every morning. I get it, bro. Finally. Thank you. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Oh, asparagus gives you smelly pee. I see. Alright, so LMQR3 says something that sounds absolutely terrifying. That I would never want to do. Don't eat asparagus when married, period. Now, I'll be honest, bro. I love asparagus. I grow it in the garden. Take 2 grams of glycine before bed? 2 grams of glycine before bed will help me not to pee in the night? Or, wait, hang on. 2 grams of glycine before bed peeing. Let's do a little search, see what happens with that. All right. See what we get with that. What does the glycine do? Let me know. Shout out to Splash Bar Films. My old roommate used to have multiple pee bottles and spit bottles lying around the room. Ew. That is pretty gross. That is pretty gross. But I can't hate, honestly. Alright, so why? Okay, so I just typed it in here. It says taking 2 grams of glycine before bed is generally considered safe, and many people use it for sleep quality, relaxation, and nervous system calming. But increased nighttime urination, aka peeing more, can happen in some individuals. Here's why. Glycine relaxes the smooth muscle. And I guess the bladder is a smooth muscle, making them more aware of the bladder fullness. Okay. It mildly increases circulation, sometimes causing your kidneys to filter more fluid temporarily. Timing matters. Taking glycine with water or close to bedtime can contribute to nighttime urination, simply because of the added liquid intake. But is peeing at night from glycine harmful? Usually no, but it can be annoying. Alright, so that's good to know. Thank you so much for the advice. As we are coming down to our entry here on Bitcoin. My goodness, let's check out the order flow. There is a little bit of bullish CBD here, but in general, those shorts are... not all of them are out. Not all of them are out. It's kind of a battle here between the bears and the bulls. Chilling in the boat, in the front, in the hole. Yeah, my man was trying to get me to pee the bed. What the heck? You were trying to get me to pee the bed, bro. Come on, man. That's not good for marriage. It's not good for marriage, trust me. I tried it once. It's not good. It's not good. Alright, eat salt before bed. Look, I just watched a video by Health, and Health said don't have salt before bed. Health said if you want to pee in the night, have salt before bed. Alright, and last night I made the mistake. I made the mistake of having salt before bed last night because I did a late night leg workout last night. Late night leg workout. Heavy leg workout. Heavy Bulgarian split squats in the Smith machine. Heavy leg presses. Heavy Romanian deadlifts. Heavy calf raises on the leg press machine and heavy glute raises. And when I was done, I realized typically if I work out at night, I don't eat anything until the morning or usually the next day at like noon, right? But tonight I realized I'm actually hungry from that workout. I need to eat something. So what I did was I took some bone broth. And the bone broth I drank had like 1,500 milligrams of sodium in it. Right after I drank it, I realized, crap, I just drank a whole bunch of salt. And sure enough, in the middle of the night, the pee jug was being used. Alright? The pee jug was being used. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. Alright. Well, Bitcoin's dumping. Let me sniff the sandals. Let's go ahead and check out where we're... okay, so we're coming down to a very key zone of support here. Let's watch and wait and see. Let's go to the 5-second time frame. Looking bearish. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame here. Looking not so bad. Looking not so bad. The 12-minute looked pretty nice on this drop. Now we're getting a red dot here. We're coming to the box. Let's see if we hold the box. Can we hold the box? If not, then we'll get a wick out here. We'll get a little tricky wicky. Tricky wicky looking sticky. The heavy bag for 30 minutes. Oh man, that is an insane workout. That is an insane workout. What's a glute raise? I'm on my way down to the gym. You don't know what a glute raise is? A glute raise is here. Well, let's find out together. A glute raise. Well, I do it on a glute raise. It's like a hip thrust, right? Hip thrust. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about here. All right. You do it on the bench. Here you go. Yeah, this is it. The glute bridge. Okay, barbell hip thrust. I have a machine to do it, but when I don't have a machine, I use a barbell and a bench. Here we go. There you go. Yeah, this is it. All right. You're gonna really I'm telling you that'll target your butt more than any other exercise. And when you do it, like, picture you're like driving your heels into the floor and trying to pull your heels towards your butt as well. And I guarantee your glutes are gonna get strong. All right. And guys, look, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jay, that's pretty gay, man. Why do you care about your butt so much? That's a girl exercise. Let me tell you, it's not a girl exercise, man. The glutes are the powerhouse of the body. All right, you have weak glutes, you're going to have low back problem. Weak glutes, you're going to have everything problem. Strong glutes, it'll bulletproof your lower back. Because in life, if you have lower back pain, it's probably because you have weak glutes. Weak glutes and weak hamstrings are going to give you a lower back problem because your lower back is going to overcompensate everything. You bend over, outside, doing work, whatever, sitting too long, whatever. You have some big meaty glutes. It's going to fix that problem. You get a sore lower back from squatting and deadlifting. Let me tell you, it's because your glutes are weak and your lower back is overtaking the glutes. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Romanian deadlifts also. Romanian deadlifts, man. And barbell hip thrusts. It's going to bulletproof your low back. And I've got some weird low back issues. And building up my gluteus maximi, I'm telling you, has been a game changer for me. Been a game changer. I see all the women and betas doing glute raises at the gym. I know. Well, at least I've already admitted that I'm a beta. Some strong glutes on the stair machine. That's true. RDLs are king of the posterior. For me, RDLs don't work the glutes, you know. For me, they work the hamstrings. But, you know, I guess everyone's anthropometry is different too. Like, for me, the only exercises that work my glutes are a low bar barbell squat and a barbell hip thrust or a machine hip thrust. I could do Romanian deadlifts all day, have super sore hamstrings the next day. My butt doesn't feel like anything. Even a deadlift does not really work I think it's because I'm really tall. I'm very tall. I'm like 6'3" and I have long arms. My wingspan is more than my height. So I probably have like a 6'5" wingspan. So I don't know. The deadlift doesn't work my glutes. The deadlift I've had, you know what's funny? The deadlift has mostly built my back. It's mostly built my back. I'd say I consider the deadlift more of a back exercise for me. Just like heavy loading the back. I remember when I first started deadlifting, all of a sudden I got traps like a man. You know, before I started deadlifting, I used to do like the shrugs in the gym like this. You know, no real growth. But when I started deadlifting heavy, the traps, the lats started to come in. Do I deadlift with a hex bar? Yeah, I love to deadlift with a hex bar now. In fact, I rarely do conventional deadlifts anymore. I mostly do hex bar deadlifts. Just because I don't feel like it changes much for me, except the hex bar deadlift if I'm gonna fumble with my form, the hex bar deadlift is more forgiving. You know, it's more forgiving because you keep that weight literally right in the center of mass instead of in front of you. And I know with the deadlift, you're supposed to keep the weight not really in front of you in the center of mass, but it's so easy for it to lean a little forward. And honestly, I just see no reason to conventional deadlift anymore. As I get old, I sound like an old man, but as I get old, I move away from the big three, conventional big three. I don't really do flat bench press with a barbell anymore. Very rarely. I very rarely do conventional deadlift. I still do low bar squatting, but I don't push it nearly as hard as I used to. And I usually go for the higher reps. But I'm really into, like, you know, the old man exercises. Smith machine bench press, incline, dumbbell bench press, and, you know, the hex bar deadlift, the Romanian deadlift, man. The Romanian deadlift. That's what's up, really. And then, of course, the hip thrust with the barbell or the machine. And for legs, I've been digging Nordic curls lately. I've been doing Nordic curls, Romanian deadlifts, Bulgarian split squats, lunges, all that kind of stuff. All right, so this looks like I'm probably gonna get stopped out here. Let's see. Don't you hate when this happens? Don't you hate when we come down like an inch to your stop loss and don't stop out? It's like, what the heck, Bitcoin? You're just teasing me. Bitcoin's just teasing me right now. Bitcoin is teasing me. What the heck, man? Do you guys see that? Do you see that? Belt squat. Yeah, I have a belt squat machine as well, which I do enjoy. How many pull-ups could I do? I could probably do about 30 strict pull-ups, Brother Nature. I'm not even kidding. I've always been really, really good at pull-ups. For some reason. I've had really good pull-up strength. I had the record in my gym class in middle school and high school. I've always been really good at pull-ups for some reason. I don't know why. I've also always had really strong biceps. Like, I remember being able to curl like 65-pound dumbbells. Strict form. Like, I've always had really strong biceps. I don't know why. I remember when I first started getting into weightlifting and all I did was pull-ups and push-ups and bicep curls. I excelled at the bicep curls. Do I prefer incline dumbbell press over barbell? I do. I prefer the incline dumbbell press over barbell. It's really hard for me to feel the pec on the barbell. Right? It's really hard for me to feel the pec on my barbell. Feel the barbell on my pec, I guess. Feel the pec when I'm coming down with the barbell. It's the dumbbell, I don't know what it is. It's easier for me on the dumbbell. Bitcoin just made a slightly higher low on Bybit just to wick me out. Let's check it out here. Oh no, we made a lower low on Bybit. Okay, I don't feel so bad anymore. I can curl 65-pound dumbbells, 30 pounds at a time. Terrible bearish rejection on Bitcoin. Yeah, that is kind of a bummer. I thought we'd get a little bit more here. MEXC didn't take the low, though. I mean, KCEX didn't take the low. Yeah, I could post a video of it. I could do it right now. I feel like right now I could do 30 pull-ups, man. I feel it in me right now. I mean, I do quick touch-and-go pull-ups. I'm not talking like slow pull-ups. If I'm just going like 1, 2, 3, chin over the bar, easily I could get 30. Easily. I've done it many times. Just in like when, you know, when you're random like at the playground with your kid and there's a swing set there and you just can't. I mean, I don't know about you guys out there, but can any one of you out there take your kids to a park and not do pull-ups on the dang playground? Let's take a poll. Let's take a poll. Can you go to a park and not do pull-ups on the playground? Can you go to a park with your kids and not do pull-ups on the playground? See, that's the one cool thing about having kids. Because if you didn't have kids and you were at the park doing pull-ups, it's a little bit creepy these days, right? But because you have kids, it's not creepy. Yeah, see, a lot of people are in the same boat. You have to do a set of pull-ups. You have to do a set of pull-ups. You know? I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I've just always had really strong arm strength. I don't think it's my back that makes me good at pull-ups. I think it's my arms. There's something. I've always had very dominant arms. All right. I don't train my arms or shoulders really. Yet they're literally one of the most developed body parts that I have somehow. It's just genetic, I think. All right. So the adventure smoke doesn't answer stupid polls. Okay, fine. You don't answer stupid polls. Fine, then we'll never know if you can go to a park and not do pull-ups. All right? Can I do a handstand? No. No, I cannot. I cannot. You don't believe 30 straight? Man, you know what? I wish I could take this computer down to the basement right now. But I don't think there's a way to do that. I don't think there's a way to do that. You know what? I'll post a video of it, man. I'll post a video of it. 30 straight pull-ups. Yes, this is so true. It's because I don't have legs. That's 100% true as well. I don't have legs. Like, honestly, my legs, man. You know, it's sad. It's a sad state. It really is. My goodness, man. Well, that's why I'm a crypto YouTuber. I only have to show you my upper front torso. I only train chest and biceps only, so... But yeah, that's exactly why. Pistol squats. Man, those are tough. Those are tough. I cannot do pistol squats without assistance. I can do them with assistance, but I cannot do them without assistance. I'm 6'5", 234, and do sets of 20 pull-ups. Didn't I live in the basement a while back? I did. Am I still on MEXC? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'll post a video of 30 strict pull-ups. I'll do it right after this stream. I'll go down there on my phone. I'll post it as a short on my YouTube. All right? Are six-packs all the time a myth? No, they're not a myth. I mean, it depends on what you mean by a six-pack. What do you mean by a six-pack? Is this... If you consider this a six-pack... Let's see. Do I have a picture of a six-pack? If you consider this a six-pack, all right, then yeah, you could have that all year easily. But a lot of people would consider that not a six-pack, right? But if you consider that a six-pack, then yeah, you could have that all year easily, all right? You just have to follow my secret diet and training program. It's only $700 a month. Click the link in the description. Can people with long arms do more pull-ups? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I will. I promise you guys. After this stream, what am I doing right now looking for a long? Well, I just took a long. I got stopped out basically for a break even. I think with the fees, I probably like $100 loss or something. But right now I'm waiting for lower, man. I have to be honest. If this CDW didn't work out, I would say the one we just had didn't work out. I would say probably we should be looking for lower now. I could be wrong, but we were rejected from VWAP. I mean, we had a nice... This was a nice entry down here. This was a nice reaction, but this time could still pump. But yeah, I would wait for lower. You know, I don't see a long entry right now. What do I think about Aster? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just joking about the link in the description. Am I on steroids? No, I'm not on steroids. It's the way you can see the way you can have abs like that, abs that are like better than most people, right? But you look like crap if you were like being a physique competition. Here's the trick. You guys ready for the trick? I'll give you the trick. I'll give you the secret. I'm literally going to give you guys the secret. All right. First of all, you got to lift heavy weights. You have to lift heavy weights at least twice a week. I'd say the sweet spot is 3 times a week. 4 times a week if you can handle it. All right. You need to lift heavy weights, heavy for you. And you have to work hard. Like, you have to challenge yourself. All right. You have to be taking the sets hard. And you have to have a balanced program where you're working your whole body. The big muscle groups, right? That's the bedrock, is lifting heavy weights. The second thing is your diet needs to be extremely clean. All right. So try not to eat things that come in a package, or if you do, keep it 85% things that don't come in a package. All right. And if you do those 2 things, then the next big secret is get a walking desk. All right. Because if you have a walking desk, what walking does is it's a very low intensity, constant calorie burn. It doesn't spike your hunger. But what this allows you to do, if you do the lifting weights and you do the diet and you get the walking desk, it means you can eat as much as your heart desires, as much as you want, until you're satisfied, until you're stuffed, lying there on the couch reading to your kids, wondering if you'll be able to get up. Maybe I've done that a few times. You can eat until you look pregnant, but you're still not going to get fat, because there's no way you can eat a clean diet, lift heavy weights 3 to 4 times a week, and have a walking desk getting like 20,000, 25,000 steps a day, and be able to out-eat that to the point where you get fat and don't have abs. Because the body, when you eat food, right, when you eat junk food, and when I say junk food, I mean anything that comes in a package that has added salts and sugars and fats that allow you to eat more than your body would allow you to eat if you were eating the actual whole food, right? When you're eating that junk food, you can easily, you could eat a whole bag of potato chips. Let's be honest, especially those of us who lift weights, you could eat 2 family-sized bags of potato chips in one sitting. And like a hamburger, like no problem, right? You could do that no problem. But you're going to be able to eat 12 potatoes and a hamburger? No, you're not going to be able to. That's the secret, right? A weighted vest, that's true too. Yeah. What was it that flew into the second tower? I don't know. Are you a no-plane theorist? Is anyone a no-plane theorist out there? A missile theorist? You got your real plane theorists? The people that say I was there and I saw it. You got the no-plane theorists. The people that say it was just a bomb that went off. You got your missile theorists. People say it was a missile. All right? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, this is okay. So Mickey brings up another great point. Fat ratio. Okay, here's something else. Guys, make sure, and this will happen naturally if you are eating a whole food diet, but you cannot eat seed oils. You want to make sure you're getting most of your fats from monounsaturated and saturated. And the polyunsaturated fats you want to keep from the omega-3s like fish, fatty fish, and things like that. So I eat a lot of extra virgin olive oil, a lot of avocados. I eat a lot of peanut butter. I know people have different views on peanut butter. I eat a lot of eggs. I eat a lot of meat. All right, if you look at my fat profile, in fact, I'm one of those weirdos. I track literally everything I eat in MyFitnessPal. Let's see here. So typically, if I'm getting 125 grams of fat a day, I'm getting about 35 saturated, 40 monounsaturated, and 14 polyunsaturated. That's a good fat profile. You don't want your polyunsaturated fats to outweigh your monounsaturated fats. That's not good for your cell membranes. It's not good for your thyroid. It's not good for your energy. And most processed food in the West, even if it's healthy and organic, it's going to have these seed oils that are very high in the omega-6, the linoleic acid type fats. And if you have too much of that and not enough monounsaturated, not enough saturated, you could have some issues. All right? You could have some issues. So he brings up a good point there. The Pentagon is the missile strike. The towers were the planes. What? Yeah. You have to eat animals raw. Healthy nuts too, yeah. What kind of sugar? I mean, if you gotta eat sugar, coconut sugar is what they say is good. I like fruit sugar. I probably get about 200 grams of sugar a day from fruit. Too smelly. From fruit and like squash and sweet potatoes and all that. Get a lot of sugar from that. Don't eat fake extra virgin olive oil. Yeah, you gotta eat the real good kind. The has to be like the single source, organic, extra virgin, first cold press, all that stuff. Yeah, don't get cheap olive oil. Do I drink alkaline water? No, I don't. It's fake and seed oil. Yeah. You gotta be real careful with the oils too. Like avocado oil, most avocado oils like cut with soybean oil. In fact, it could say 100% avocado. It could say 100% olive oil on the bottle, and legally could be cut with like soybean oil. You gotta be really particular with that stuff. Smoke some good weed too. I mean, I don't smoke weed. I don't take creatine. Crypto jinx, I don't take creatine. It always gives me diarrhea. Why is there a gap in between my abs? I don't know. I just have that gap. I have that gap. I could stick my fingers in it. Is everyone here American? Have you guys researched the microplastics in the water bottles? Yeah, don't drink from plastic water bottles either. Not every day. Do your best, guys, to live like the way God created man to live, right? Out in nature. What speed do I walk? Right now, I'm at 3 miles per hour, which is a pretty slow walk. Cashews, macadamia. Yeah, man, macadamia nuts are excellent source of monounsaturated. One of the best. I do love me some macadamia nuts. I also love me some cashews. The sad thing about cashews is I am allergic to them, man. So when I eat cashews, I get like itchy bumps on my fingers. It's really weird. I eat them anyway. Sometimes. I eat them anyway sometimes. And my daughter always calls me out on it. She's like, why do you eat cashews if you're allergic? And what am I going to say to her? You know? Because I like them. You know? But that's not good. It's not a good thing to teach your kids. You eat 10 pounds of beef a week. You're 6 foot, 190 and muscular and cut year round. Nice. That's cool. Shout out to RFC. You're still watching me. Do we have another long here? Yeah, we might. I mean, we didn't take the low on Bybit. So, technically, we're holding bullish market structure after a CDW. Cashews are not nuts. Aren't they related to mangoes somehow? How many eggs do I eat a day? I don't know. Right now, probably like between 4 and 6. I've gone up to 20. I went up to 20 eggs in a day. I did a little experiment where I was eating 20 eggs a day, about 2 sticks of butter a day, and my cholesterol, my total cholesterol went up to over 400. So I decided, although I still don't know how I feel about cholesterol as it relates to heart disease, I figured 400 is a little too high. All right. So I like to keep my total cholesterol around like 220. 220 to 250. Do I think the top is in for Bitcoin? Do I think the top is in for Bitcoin? Shout out to J-Boy, said it was bearish. He says, God bless the Casper crew. Did I get stopped out? Yeah, I got stopped out. I'm pretty sure we watched the stop loss get hit all together. Do you give trade now or not? Do I give trade now or not? I don't know what that means, bro. For cholesterol, you need fiber in diet. Oatmeal? I do eat oatmeal sometimes. Can I lower fees for the Discord? I do think they're pretty low, to be honest. I do think the fees are pretty low. Shout out to why I can't pronounce this because YouTube doesn't put spaces anymore. I'm your fan from Thailand. Have I been to Thailand? I've never been to Thailand before. But I'm not against going to Thailand. I think Thailand's a pretty cool place. Cholesterol is a steroid building hormone. I thought you guys were afraid of oats. I eat oats. I eat oats. Right now I'm not doing wheat, but I'm not against wheat. I was doing the einkorn sourdough bread for a while, but I decided to cut out wheat and dairy for a while from my diet. But right now, I'm eating corn, oats, quinoa, rice, and that's pretty much the only, like, grains I'm currently eating right now. And then other than that, it's all potatoes and squash and beans and all that for the carbs. Do I think Fetch AI will explode? I don't know. Probiotics, yeah, that's a big one. I'm all about the fermented foods. So when I do eat dairy, fermented dairy, big time. Kimchi, the real fermented pickles, sauerkraut, all that kind of stuff. It's good for you. I don't know if Fetch AI will explode. Like, that's the thing. Like, right now we need a lot of things to happen. I don't think we can talk about Fetch AI, but we'll take a look at the chart. Take a look at Fetch AI chart. It's doing the same thing as Bitcoin right now on the low time frame. So let's take a look at Fetch AI. So we're below value area. You know, let's take it from the bear market to our current place. I mean, we took all the liquidity here. We're holding POC. If we can hold POC, yeah, we can see a lot more upside here. We do have a hidden bullish div on the weekly, okay? So that is something good on the weekly. Let's go to the 3-day. We have some slight money flow bullish divergence on the 3-day after we took the low with that liquidity wick. You know, holding 23 cents obviously is going to be super bullish. And if we can hold 23 cents, it's also pretty clear that we could easily squeeze back up to, you know, around $1 at least. But I think, you know, depending on what happens with the markets in general, like, we need to see the order of operations. Bitcoin can't lose this support. We need to see money flow into alts in general. And yeah, I mean, it's an AI coin, right? So AI is bullish in general. Dump pre-CME open is usually bullish. That is true. Shout out to my man, Dave Digital. He eats 0 sugar, dark chocolate chips, and my Greek yogurt fruit blend. Yeah, that's what's up, bro. I just eat the fruit. I eat the fruit. You know, I love to have some Greek yogurt, or if I'm not eating dairy, I'll take some coconut cream. and I'll just mix in a whole bunch of cherries and mangoes and blueberries and raspberries and blackberries and apples and bananas and mix it all together. I'll even put some dang oats in there too, if you want a little extra carbohydrate. 330 cholesterol is perfect. Check the Eskimos. Yeah, like, my view on it is, if you're eating like an Eskimo and you're eating like totally like a keto diet only, then I think it's probably okay. But if you're eating carbs and your cholesterol's that high, I don't know if that's okay. Like, I eat a lot of carbs, man. Like, it's like 600-700 carbs a day, so, you know. Do I eat pork rinds? I don't eat pork at all, to be honest with you. But if I did eat pork, I would eat pork rinds because it's just pure protein. Is this the bottom? Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Locally, maybe. Locally, maybe this could be a bottom here. I mean, we just got another like bounce after a higher low. Locally, this could be a bottom. But I don't think it's the bottom. I don't think so. It could be, but I don't think so. Yeah, peeled apple. That's what's up, right? That's what's up. Am I a Muslim or something? I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. No, I'm not a Muslim, but I don't eat pork. I do not eat pork. I'm a follower of Jesus the Messiah. So I guess I'm a Christian. Most people would say I'm a Christian. And most people, I tell most people, yes, I'm a Christian. So I'm a Christian. I follow Jesus. I believe that Jesus is God, that he died for our sins as our representative, and that if you repent and put your faith in him, he'll fill you with his Holy Spirit, cause you to be born again so you can have eternal life. But I don't eat pork. Yeah, Crawler 2380, exactly correct. That's exactly why I don't eat pork. It's a split hoof, but it doesn't chew the cud. Doesn't chew the cud. Do I have coffee? I don't have coffee. That's a lie. I do have coffee. I've been weaning myself off coffee here. All right, I've been weaning myself off coffee. I'm down to about 4 ounces a day right now. Just a little bit of a reset. I was getting a little bit too dependent on the coffee there. So I'm just in a phase of trying to like restore my sleep, you know? Just in a little phase of trying to restore my sleep. This does look nice, honestly, for more upside here. Like, just the direction right now on the 1 hour. This 1 hour momentum wave here, green dot, this actually could be a nice bottom locally here, guys. This could be a nice bottom here locally right now, what we've got going on. This could be a nice little bottom right here. An apple with natty peanut butter and honey is fire, absolutely. How do you lose belly fat with only diet? I don't know if you can. I mean, I guess you can. You have to eat in a caloric deficit. You have to eat very high protein. Very high protein. Eat low carbohydrate, high protein. I don't know. Like, I don't know. The human body was not made to be sedentary. If you're going to lose weight with diet alone, I feel like it's an uphill battle. I feel like, make sure if you're going to do it with diet alone, that you eat a very high protein diet, because your goal must be to preserve as much muscle as possible. If you're going to lose weight without lifting weights, it's going to be very difficult not to lose muscle, because your body is going to say to itself, I'm not getting calories. I need to lose weight. And it's going to take away your muscle, because muscle is very metabolically expensive tissue. Having muscle burns calories. And so if your body knows it's not getting calories, it's going to get rid of the tissue that's burning the most calories. That's going to be your muscle. You don't need to have big biceps to survive. You do need to have body fat to survive. You don't need big muscles to stay alive, but you do need body fat to stay alive. So be very careful losing fat without exercise, without weightlifting. Because here's the problem. If you lose 30 pounds, and let's say half of that is muscle, what you've just done is you've lowered your metabolism like crazy. Which means if you go back to eating the way you used to eat, you're going to get way fatter than you were in the first place. Because now, let's say right now your body burns 2,000 calories a day. You lose 15 pounds of fat, 15 pounds of muscle. Now your body's burning like 1,500 calories a day. So you could, if you go back to your old diet, you're going to get way fatter than you were in the first place. It's really like an uphill battle losing weight by not eating only. You gotta lift weights. Lift weights. Lift some dang weights. Do it once a week. Twice a week. Give your body some reason to hold on to that muscle. If you're not going to lift weights, please eat high protein, like 1 gram per pound. Otherwise, you're going to lose primarily muscle, not primarily muscle. You're going to lose a lot of muscle, which you don't want to do. If you just go into a caloric deficit for a little bit and lift weights once or twice a week and eat a high protein diet, you will lose lots of belly fat, right? You lose muscle no matter what. Yeah, but here's the big difference. You're going to lose way more muscle if you don't lift weights and eat low protein than if you're lifting weights and eating a high protein diet. Like that's just a fact. You're going to lose muscle no matter what, but the big question is, how much muscle are you going to lose? How much muscle are you going to lose? I mean, lifting weights is like the cheat code for getting lean. It's the cheat code for getting lean. It's building metabolically active tissue. And there's something about lifting weights that does more than what people say on paper. I don't care what people say on paper. They're like, your workout only burns 100 calories. And you could be at the gym for an hour lifting weights, you only burn 100 calories. I don't care. You're lifting weights, I guarantee you're going to be able to stay leaner easier, way easier than somebody who's not. It just is what it is. That's some bro science right there. Bro science. I'm a bro scientist. You said you're a Christian. Do you think Christ came to save the whole world? Of course, Christ came to save the whole world. Of course, the Messiah came to save the whole world. That's literally the promise that God made to Abraham. He said, Abraham, in your seed, speaking of the messianic seed, he says, all the families of the world will be blessed, and all the nations of the earth will bless themselves in your seed, says God to Abraham. So yeah, the Messiah came to be a light to all the nations, as it says in Isaiah 49. The Messiah came to be a light to all the nations. And even Jesus himself, in John chapter 3, says that this is how much God loved the world, that he gave his one and only Son, so that whoever believes in him would not perish but have eternal life. So, of course, the Messiah came for all the nations. Why would you ask a question like that? If you're a guy, which most of us are, you should definitely lift. For sure. I agree. How to buy the indicator? Well, it's Market Cipher. I go to marketciphertrading.com. I do have an affiliate link, but I don't think I have a discount code, so I'm sad that I don't have a discount code. I'll have to... It's Crypto Face's indicator. Bring the bear market. I'm prepared. Protein requirements are way overestimated. I agree with this Mega Spaceman spliff. I actually do. In fact, I think you need way less protein to build muscle than people say. I agree, probably maybe like 0.5 grams per pound, maybe 0.6 per pound. But, okay, we're talking about somebody who's trying to lose weight, lose fat. We're not talking about someone who's trying to build muscle in a caloric surplus. If you're trying to build muscle in a caloric surplus, you could get away with some pretty dang low protein. If you're trying to lose weight without exercising, okay, you're trying to lose fat without lifting weights, man, you better put your protein up high, honestly. There's a big difference between trying to gain muscle on a caloric surplus with low protein versus trying to lose weight without lifting. I mean, if you're lifting, lifting covers a multitude of sins, right? Lifting covers a multitude of sins. But either lift weights or do plumbing or do construction or something. All of Jay's muscles are implants in green screen. That is true. You're skinny and you can't gain weight? Well, here's what I would do. I would definitely still lift the heavy weights. I would focus on the compound lifts. I would focus on compound lifts. So what you want to do is set up a program so that you are doing some kind of a squat, some kind of a hip hinge, a horizontal pull and a vertical pull, a horizontal press and a vertical press, and then do some arms and some calves and some abs. And just build a full body program around those lifts. All right, so that's going to look like a flat bench press and an overhead press, a pull up or a lat pull down, and a barbell row or a chest supported row, a barbell squat or like a belt squat and like a deadlift, all right, of sorts, and then like bicep curl, triceps, and like some calf and abs. And just focus on a few of those exercises. Focus on getting better at them every week. Every week you're going to try and get one more rep on your sets until you increase the weight slow. And then what you need to do is you need to find a way to eat enough calories so that you start to gain weight slowly. So if you're really having a hard time getting the food down, which I've never had an issue with, I've always had the opposite issue. But for guys who are really skinny, you have to find a way to add calories to your diet. So one of the easiest ways to do that is high quality olive oil, avocados, nut butter, stuff like that. Make yourself a protein shake. Keep your diet the same, but make yourself a protein shake every day that has like a couple scoops of like high quality grass-fed whey protein or bone broth protein. Put some raw honey in there. Put some, maybe even put some dang olive oil in there, honestly. Or put some nut butter in there if you can handle nuts. And, you know, you could easily make yourself a 1,000 calorie shake. Easily. And drink that thing down. And if you keep your diet the same, you're adding an extra 1,000 calorie shake with honey, nut butter, protein powder, and put some fruit in there. Blueberries, cherries, honey, almond butter, some protein, and if you can tolerate raw milk, put some raw milk in there, man. And just drink this shake every day. In between meals, just sip on it throughout the day. It's going to taste amazing. It's going to taste like ice cream. And if you're hitting the heavy weights and you're getting that extra 1,000 calorie shake in, there's no way you're not going to gain some weight. Honestly. And just monitor the weight gain. Obviously, you're going to gain some fat. But if you're hitting the heavy weights, a lot of that's going to be muscle. A lot of that's going to be muscle. So, the only thing that matters in this journey is to be consistent in training and diet. Easy to say, but not easy to do. Yeah, consistency is best. Do I do red light therapy? I do. I am into red light therapy. Yeah. You think that John 3:16 is speaking of just Israel? No, that's not the biblical message, my friend. That's not the biblical message. For example, before Israel was even a thing, right? Before Israel was even a thing, God told Abraham that I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sands of the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. Right? So this is the original promise to Abraham, that through Abraham's seed, all the nations of the world will be blessed. And then in Isaiah 49, this is the Messiah speaking. This is a conversation between God the Father and God the Son, right? This is God the Father talking to God the Son, talking to Messiah. Now says the Lord who formed me in the womb to be a servant. All right, so this is the Messiah. This is Jesus speaking here, pre-incarnate Jesus, right? Is saying that the Lord who formed me in the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob back to him, and to gather Israel back to himself. The Father says to the Son, it's too small of a thing for you to be my servant to restore the tribes of Jacob and bring back those of Israel whom I have scattered or kept. He says, I will also make you a light for the Gentiles. This means all the nations, that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth. Right? So the Messiah, God is telling Messiah, when God commissions Messiah to come, he says, look, it's a small thing that you're going to restore the tribes of Jacob and gather back Israel. I'll make you a light to all the nations. And in this strange conversation, which is a very interesting conversation between the Godhead, right? You know, this is the Messiah speaking. He says, listen to me, all you islands, all you distant lands. Before I was born, the Lord called me from my mother's womb. He has spoken my name. He's made my mouth like a sharp sword. Look at this. The Messiah says, I've labored in vain, and I've spent my strength for nothing. Isn't that so interesting? There's so much packed into this one scripture right here, but we don't have time to get into now. But my point is, he's a light to all the nations. And then when you get to the book of John, there's no indication from the text. There's no indication at all from the text that this word world here is speaking only of Israel. There's absolutely no indication at all in the Greek that this is speaking only of Israel. It says, for God so loved the world, that whosoever. And then you can go to Ephesians 3, which is this: the mystery of the gospel is that the nations are heirs together with Israel, members together of one body, and sharers together in the promises of Messiah. Right? So from Genesis all the way to the Gospels, all the way to the epistles, Christ, the Messiah, came for all the nations. Right? Israel is chosen for the purpose of, number one, preserving the oracles of God. Number two, preserving a lineage in which through the Messiah can come, because God promised Abraham that Messiah was going to come through him, and God promised David Messiah would come through him. But they're chosen in a sense that they are chosen as a vehicle through which the Messiah will come for all the nations. And so, I mean, Ephesians 2 and 3 make it extremely clear that in the Messiah, if you're not part of Israel ethnically, you are grafted in spiritually to the commonwealth of Israel. God talking to himself. It's a beautiful thing when you see a conversation between, where God speaks to himself, the multi-personal God of the Bible, adoring himself, worshiping himself, loving himself, having relationship within himself, speaking within himself. God is a relationship. God is love. God within God's very existence is love, is relationship. That's why humanity is made in God's image. We are made male and female to have relationship, just as God within himself has relationship. How many pull-ups could Yeshua do? I wonder that because he was probably pretty strong, right? Working with stones or wood or whatever. Are we forming a bull div on the weekly? Let's check it out. So we are potentially forming a hidden bullish divergence on the weekly right now. That is correct. In fact, this could be, and I have to say, things definitely look more bearish than bullish here, but this could be something that either gives us another high or at least a back test of 116 before Dump City, right? This could very well be a hidden bullish divergence forming here. Very well could be. But I have a feeling that we're going to start to see momentum coming back down now. I have a feeling this is kind of played out. We're going to start to see the direction coming back, you know? I have a feeling we're going to start to see the direction coming back. Playing with leverage is a sin. P and pray, or pray and P, I call it. That is a good thing to do. Pray and P at the same time. Did I hear speech by Alan Watts where he says that imagine you have dream you can control, then you will do everything? I might have heard that. Oh, I see. So you're like a two-house kind of guy, then. You're saying that the Gentiles that Paul's speaking to are just northern kingdom exiles who lost their identity and were assimilated into the nations because of the Romans 9 where he quotes Hosea chapter 1. And you do have to make a lot of assumptions to hold to that view. But let's even assume that view is true, right? Let's assume your view is true. I know a lot of people in the chat have no idea what view it is you're talking about. But even if that view is true, look at what happened in Israel, in Egypt, for example. You know, the Israelites that left Egypt and went to Mount Sinai were not only Israelites. They were Israelites and a whole bunch of mixed multitude, all right? From the very beginning, God's people was always a mix of Israelites who were ethnically Israelites and non-Israelites who served the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and were considered equals with native-born Israelites. This is all the way back from the Torah. We see it at Mount Sinai with the mixed multitude entering into a covenant with God at the foot of Mount Sinai. We see it all throughout the Torah where it says, if there's a Ger Toshav among you, he's considered the same as a native-born in the eyes of Hashem. So God is no respecter of persons. When we look at Acts 10, Cornelius was not, for sure, 100% Cornelius was not a northern kingdom exile who had lost his identity. He was not. The gospel is for all nations. When God regathers Israel and the northern kingdom, which has been sent into exile and is still in exile, has never come back, when he gathers them from the four corners of the earth, as he promises he will, he's going to gather with them a whole bunch of others who are not Israel. All right? Let me see if I can find. Look at this. So, look at what the Lord says. The sovereign Lord declares, he who gathers the exiles of Israel, I will gather still others to them, besides those who are already being gathered. In the context of this, he's talking about when the Lord gathers back the exiles from the northern and southern kingdoms, he's going to be gathering back a whole bunch of nations with them. This is why in Revelation, you see a multitude of all nations, languages, tongues, and tribes standing before the throne of God, worshiping God together. That's why. All right? According to the Old Testament, the Messiah is coming to gather all nations. He's going to gather the exile of Israel plus even others. And in this case, it's talking about the foreigner, right? The foreigner. This is the non-Israelite. And the eunuchs. To the foreigners who bind themselves to the Lord, to minister to him, to love the name of the Lord, and to be his servants, who keep Shabbat without desecrating it, who hold fast to God's covenant, these I will bring to my holy mountain, and give them joy in my house of prayer. For my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations, declares the Lord. He who gathers the exiles of Israel will still gather others. So yeah, the gospel is for all the nations. Of course it is. Your view is not biblical, my friend. We have a super chat in the house. Shout out to Doggy Style TV. Are we? Yeah, we are forming a hidden bull div on the weekly, my friend. Absolutely. You got to look up Jay Dyer. I love Jay Dyer, my favorite Orthodox Christian YouTuber. Shout out to Worldwide. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you to Doggy Style TV for the super chat. Okay, how many gates are there in heaven? I see your question. Okay, this is a vision that Ezekiel had about a future time where I believe this is speaking of the millennial, should I say the messianic age, all right? This is talking about the division of the land between the 12 tribes of Israel. It says this: you are to distribute the land among yourselves according to the tribes of Israel. You are to allot it as an inheritance for yourself and for the Gentiles residing among you and who have children. You are to consider them as native-born Israelites. Along with you, they are to be allotted inheritance among the tribes of Israel. In whatever tribe a foreigner resides, there you are to give them their inheritance, declares the sovereign Lord. This means even if there are only 12 gates in heaven for the 12 tribes of Israel, according to God, declares the sovereign Lord, don't argue with God, he says that the foreigners, the non-Israelites, receive inheritance with the Israelites. They are to be considered as native-born Israelites. The gospel is for all the nations. All right? Get out of here with your heresies, bro. Get out of here with your heresies, my man. Get out of here with those heresies. What if the snake was a good guy? You know, a lot of Luciferians believe that the snake was good. They think the Nachash, the shining one from the Garden of Eden, who said, you know, I forget what he said. He said, Af ki amar Elohim lo tochlu mikol etz hagan, which means something like, surely did God say that you should not eat from all the trees of the garden? And the serpent said, Lo tamutun, you shall not die. He said, Ki yodea Elohim ki bayom achalchem mimenu. He said, on the day that you eat of it, for God knows that on the day of you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. And some people think the serpent's a good guy and God's the bad guy. But I'm not one of those people. I think the serpent lied. The first lie was, you shall not surely die. When they ate of the fruit, yeah, there was separation from God, and eventually there was separation from the body. 12 gates for the 12 tribes. I already told you why the 12 gates for the 12 tribes means there's a place for all the nations, man. You have to understand, God's people, period, is made up of all nations. The Israel of God is made up of all nations. It's made up of Jews who are native Israelites, descended from Jacob, northern and southern kingdom, and it's made up of all other nations who are part of the covenant of God. This is the consistent reality going all the way back to Mount Sinai, all the way through the Tanakh. You know, the only two people who made it into the promised land were Joshua and Caleb. Caleb was not even an Israelite. He was a Kenizzite, which means he descended from Edom. Ruth was a Moabite, and yet she was in the genealogy of the Messiah. All right, from the very beginning, God is not a respecter of persons. He is not a respecter of persons. Have I looked into the O? What's the O? What's the O? Yeah, I do have another channel for religion. I'm sorry. Man, you guys always get me talking about religion on here. Dang it. Alright, if you guys want the other channel for religion, go check out the Billy Casper Bible channel. The Billy Casper Bible channel. Make sure to subscribe. You guys always get me talking about religion up in here. Alright? Go check out some of these vids. And subscribe. If we get 1,000 subscribers, we'll do a YouTube live stream and talk about why this guy is wrong. Like, even more than we've already proved him wrong big time with real scripture. But we'll prove him even more wrong. We'll go live. We'll go live and we'll have conversations. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. I can't get over dispensationalism versus covenant theology. I mean, I personally, I don't hold to either, right? I don't hold to either, which is strange. But I don't hold to dispensationalism, nor do I hold to covenant theology. I think there's problems with both. But if I'm going to say that, if you're going to say, if I'm going to say that, that means I'm going against pretty much everybody, which means, you know, it's not a good look. You think we're in the era of the apocalypse? We might be. I tend to think no, but we might be. Have I looked into the Sumerian tablets? Of course I have, man. Absolutely. One of my favorite topics that's not a biblical topic, because it intertwines with the Bible, for sure. I mean, ancient Sumer, I would say this is really the context in which, you know, Abraham comes out of, really. Would I read the Quran? I would read the Quran. I have read the Quran. I have read it. I've read it actually more than once. From cover to cover, I have read it. How do I land at the no rapture? I believe in a rapture. I believe in a rapture. In fact, I have this video right here, the Feast of Trumpets, message about Yom Teruah. This hour-long video on my Bible channel is pretty much all about the rapture. I don't use the word rapture a single time in the message. But what I do is I talk about the rapture, which is a biblical concept that goes all the way back to the Torah. And I'll show you, if you watch this message, this hour-long video exactly where in the Torah it talks about the rapture. I'll give it a like. I'll give it a thumbs up right there. How about that? Yeah, I call it the gathering. I call it the gathering because I think it's most oftentimes referred to as the gathering together throughout the Old Testament and in the New Testament. It's usually called the gathering together. There's one scripture where Paul says we'll be caught up to meet the Lord. The Greek word harpazo. The Vulgate translated that raptoro, which is why we call it the rapture. But most of the time, when the biblical authors are talking about that event, they call it the gathering. We could short squeeze our way to the promised land, says somebody. It is a long stream today. We should probably end it. Wow, we should probably end it. Oh my goodness, we should end it. It's almost 3 hours. My goodness. Man, this is crazy. You know why this is so crazy? Because look at this. I'm just walking and talking, not thinking. Do you know how many steps I've walked? Let's see. How many steps have I walked? I've literally walked about 20,000 steps, guys. I've walked about 20,000 steps. Just walking and talking. I'm not even breaking a sweat. You know, this is how easy it is to stay in shape, man. Just get a walking desk. Just get a walking desk. Your pan trip. That means it'll all pan out in the end. That's good. I like it. Do I believe God raptures the church before the 7th period of Daniel? Well, what does Yeshua? What does Jesus say? That, you know, that for me, there's no scripture in all of the biblical canon that pinpoints a time frame as to when the event will take place, except for a statement that Jesus himself makes in Matthew 24, where Jesus tells us when it will take place. So that's my view. That's my view. You got yourself a walking desk and it's a game changer. The rapture is when you feel God's love. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Is that true? Okay. Unaz wants to know, is there a single unequivocal statement in the Bible where Jesus says, I'm God or worship me? No, there's not. There's also not a single unequivocal verse where Jesus says, I'm not God, don't worship me. And when people do worship Jesus, he doesn't rebuke them for it. And there are many statements in the Bible made about Jesus where it says he is God, worship him. Jesus attributes to himself many times the divine name and title, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. The term Messiah itself, in the context of the Second Temple period, implies deity. Like if you call somebody Christ, you're calling them God. Because the prophets told us that Christ would be God. And Jesus calls himself the Son of Man, who we know is also God, according to the prophets. And in Revelation, we see all the nations worshiping Jesus. So if Jesus is God, that's not a problem. If Jesus is God, there's no problem. If Jesus is not God, that creates a big issue, because then we have multiple gods. Because we have multiple beings being worshipped as God. So if Jesus is not God, that creates polytheism in the Old and New Testament, because according to the Old Testament, the Messiah is himself Yahweh, who takes on flesh. And according to the New Testament, Jesus is the Creator, Yahweh, who took on flesh. So if Jesus is God, there's no problem. Everybody's worshiping one God who exists within a plurality of persons. If Jesus is not God, well, then we have polytheism. Because now we have two separate beings being worshipped as God, and that doesn't work. So, the way that Jesus claimed his deity was in the context of first century Jewish thinking, not in the context of 21st century Islamic thinking, right? When he claims to be the Son of Man, when he claims to be the Messiah, when he claims to be ego eimi ho'on, which is the divine name that God revealed to Moses from the burning bush, when he claims to be the one who comes back and sits on his glorious throne and judges all the nations, when he claims to be the one who has the authority to forgive sin and raise the dead, he's claiming to be God. There's no other way around it. If he's not claiming to be God, he's a blasphemer. If he is claiming to be God, well, he's being honest. You know? How often do I have to replace treadmills? I'd say this is my third treadmill, and I've been doing this since 2023. So let's see. That's 1.5 treadmills a year. I have to replace my treadmill 1.5 times a year. You know? Oh, man. Okay, my good friend doesn't know Hebrew at all. That's interesting. Okay, alright, cool. Jesus never claimed, he never said, I am God. He never used those words. He also never said, I am not God. Right? He never said, I'm not God. When they accused him of saying he was God, he didn't deny it and say, no, you guys are wrong. I'm not saying that. He claimed to be God in many ways. That's why he was crucified. He claimed to be, they asked him, are you the Messiah? He said, I am. And you'll see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. When he said that, he was claiming unequivocally to be God, the Creator God, the God of Israel. Unequivocally. You cannot say those things without claiming to be God. Like I said, he didn't use those exact words, but he claimed deity in many ways out of his own mouth. But guys, I do have to head out because we've been streaming for literally 3 hours. I love you guys. Peace. I love you guys. God bless you guys. Peace.